Hey everybody. This is a quick overview of the main editing tools in Photoshop in terms of a darkroom technique of dodging and burning and adjusting our prints for their best possible output or expression. Take a look at this picture. These are all student images, and on its own merits, it's pretty good. However, it can be better. Everything can be better. As pictures come straight off the camera, even the best of photographers want to get working on them at that point to fine-tune them, to sort of express what they had in mind at the moment of exposure. That's called pre-visualization. And it's all about finding the focal point, bringing the viewer's eye to the focal point, and adjusting the image for light and dark, contrast, hue and saturation, and a bunch of other factors to help it to sing to its best possible potential. Take a look at the edited version here, and notice on the left side especially, and now here's the before and here's the after again. And you can see how it makes a big difference. Take a look at this one now. This is the bike throwing a shadow on the sidewalk. It's pretty good. Another student image. And then once it's edited, where we darken the sidewalk a bit, warm up the image a little bit, vignette it a little bit right here, and notice how it comes together. And it's a bit stronger now. We have texture in the sidewalk and a more focused view. The before and the after. So I'm trying to narrate this after the video lost its audio, so I'm kind of recreating what I said the first time. If you go through the menu, image adjustment, brightness contrast I use for darkening the bright tones, and levels I use for pumping up the darker values. I find that's the best thing. Curves is tricky in that it for me, it attempts to do both at the same time, and I tend not to use it. So the shortcut for levels is Control L, and there's no shortcut for image adjustment, brightness, contrast. So first with levels, notice the histogram here, and it's showing us a distribution of lights and darks in the whole image, counting each pixel and saying how many whites, how many blacks, and so on. Notice the slider that I've got the pointer on there. If I bring it up to the edge of the black mountain, that sets our black point and raises the contrast just a little bit. The right side shows the white pixels, and it's showing a few up against the wall, and those are blown out pixels. Never a good thing. So the image is slightly overexposed to begin with. Try to keep this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing, but just move it off screen here. So pulling in the dark side, what that just did is it gave a little richer before and after here. Richer tone here to the darks, not so gray. Next, let's see, I want to darken this left side and balance the image up a bit. So normally I would use the lasso tool, but in this case I guess we're going to do a little vignetting first. I made this video over a year ago, so I'm kind of watching along with you to tell you what I'm doing. I pulled out the elliptical marquee, and then we go select inverse so that the outside of the oval is selected. And next we need to feather it so you click refine edge and adjust the feathering. The more pixels, the more spread out the selection's going to be. So you do that on an experimental trial basis and see what works for you. It depends on how big the image is. Okay, so we have a very broad selection on the outside of the image from the center. And you can hide your selection too with a Control H. Next image, adjustment, brightness, contrast. And dial down the brightness a little bit. See how the edges are tightening up a little bit. Okay, do everything by eye here. And then deselect. Don't forget to deselect. Here's the before and the after. See how it kind of focuses the eye towards the center shadow a little better, right there. And it darkened the outer edges a little bit. Okay. So first two changes, tighten up the dark shadows, make them blacker, and darken the outer edges. So don't forget to deselect. Sometimes you forget to do that when the marquee is hidden. The marching ants are hidden. Okay, let's see what else is going on with this. The shadow area to the right is not bad. You can see in the history the things that we did. Pasted the image in from copying it from the blog from the student and merged it down, and then adjusted the levels, drew an elliptical marquee and feathered it out and darkened it, and then deselected. So that's a typical workflow. Excuse me. And it doesn't have to take that much time. It's not a multi-hour affair here. Let's see. Hue saturation. Saturation at this point is what makes the colors more intense or more grayscale and less intense. I thought the image was a bit orange and a little oversaturated, so I just dialed it back. Here's the before and after on that. Next, take the lasso tool, and why don't I darken that bright area of the wall just a little bit. And so I'm just outlining the area. Oh, here we are. It's going to be this corner. Same thing, feather it, adjust how much the feathering is. Image, adjustment, brightness, contrast. Dial it back. The point being, I want to help the viewer's eye, again, focus on the main shadow. Here's before and after. Always test that. Control Z, or edit, undo, edit, redo is the command there. So we'll get to work on this image kind of along the same lines. Vignette the outer edges, check out the histogram, set the black shadow. The shadow is set already and the highlight is pretty good the way it is. So there's not much to do with the levels here. I may adjust the midtones just slightly, but not really. So basically get out of there. But the center is a little bit light. And take the elliptical marquee, drag it out, do a little vignetting this time, select inverse, refine edge, feather it out, and go to image, adjustment, up in the menu item, brightness, contrast, and dial back the brightness a little bit. Before and after. Okay, and next let's adjust the inside. Let's see. Using color balance, image adjustment, color balance, or Control B as a shortcut, and warming it up a little bit. One thing I didn't do, and this happens, is that the center stayed coolish because I still have a hidden selection in there. You see? Oops, there's the selection. So really what happened was I adjusted the outside edge there, and that was a mistake. So I'll just go back in with my lasso, feather it again, and warm up the inside and darken that a little bit too. Okay, so it can both warm up and get a little darker. First, let's darken it. Image adjustment, brightness, contrast. Just till I see some texture in the highlights there. Good. And then, oops. Next is to warm it up a little bit with a color balance, which was image adjustment, color balance, or Control B is the shortcut. Anyway, there's the end result. And showing the sequence of things that I did again to take us from the out of the camera look to the edited look right there. This is the history, and to see your history you can go into Window and then click History, and then drag the window open a little bit so you can see all the levels. Photoshop by default gives us 20 levels of undo, so this is another handy way to undo multiple issues that happen with your image. So if I wanted to go back to eight things of the last thing I did, I can just click backwards in this, and that's the way to do that quickly. Okay, that's it. See you in the next video.